The last coins, the fluorescent lights hummed softly above the grocery store aisles, casting their familiar glow over rows of neatly arranged products. Sarah shifted her sleeping daughter Emma against her shoulder, feeling the weight of both the baby and her worries pressing down on her tired frame. At 26, she had imagined her life would look different by now, but life had a way of surprising you, and not always in pleasant ways. She walked slowly through the store, her worn sneakers making barely a sound on the polished floor. The baby bottle in her free hand was nearly empty, and Emma would need feeding soon. Sarah's eyes moved carefully over the shelves, calculating prices in her head the way she had learned to do over the past 8 months, since Emma was born. The math was always the same these days. Too little money, too many needs. Her fingers wrapped around the small collection of coins in her jacket pocket. She had counted them 3 times before leaving her tiny apartment. Enough for bread, maybe a small jar of peanut butter if she was lucky. The coins felt cold against her palm, each one representing careful decisions and small sacrifices. Sarah made her way to the bakery section, where the warm smell of fresh bread filled the air. It was a comforting scent that reminded her of better times, of Sunday mornings when her biggest worry was whether to have pancakes or waffles for breakfast. Those days felt like they belonged to someone else now. She chose a simple loaf of whole wheat bread, checking the price twice before placing it in her basket. Emma stirred slightly in her arms, making soft baby sounds that tugged at Sarah's heart. Everything she did now was for this little person who depended on her completely. The checkout area was busy with the usual evening rush. People hurried through with their carts full of groceries, their conversations mixing with the beeping of scanners and the rustle of plastic bags. Sarah found herself behind a man in an expansive-looking suit, his cart filled with quality items she could only dream of affording. She didn't pay much attention to him at first. Her focus was on keeping Emma comfortable while fishing the exact change from her pocket. But as she placed a single loaf of bread on the conveyor belt, she became aware that the man had turned around and was watching her. He was tall, maybe in his early 30s, with dark hair and kind eyes. His suit was perfectly tailored, the kind that spoke of success and stability. But it was his expression that caught her attention. There was something gentle there, something that didn't match the intimidating image his expensive clothes might have suggested. "Just the bread today?" the cashier asked, and Sarah nodded, trying not to notice how her purchase looked so small and lonely on the belt. The man in the suit had finished paying for his groceries, but instead of leaving, he stepped aside and continued to watch. Sarah felt her cheeks warm with embarrassment. She was used to people staring sometimes, wondering about the young woman with the baby and the careful way she counted her money. "That'll be $2.47, the cashier said. Sarah carefully placed her coins on the counter, counting them out loud softly. $2, $2.20, $2.40. Her heart sank as she realized she was 2 cents short. She had miscounted somewhere along the way. "I'm sorry," she began, her voice barely above a whisper. "I think I'm a little short. Let me just wait," came a calm voice beside her. The man in the suit had stepped forward. His eyes met Sarah's, and she saw no judgment there, only kindness. Emma chose that moment to wake up, looking around with curious baby eyes at the stranger. "Get more," he said simply, his voice carrying an authority that came naturally to him. "Get whatever you need. I'll pay for everything." Sarah stared at him, unsure she had heard correctly. You heard me," he said with a gentle smile. "Get what you need for you and your daughter. Let me take care of it." "I can't ask you to do that," Sarah protested, though her voice wavered with the weight of her need. "You didn't ask," he replied. "I'm offering." There was something in his tone that brooked no argument, but it wasn't harsh or commanding. It was the voice of someone used to solving problems, someone who saw a situation that needed fixing and simply fixed it. Emma babbled softly, reaching out a tiny hand toward the stranger. He smiled at her, and Sarah saw his expression soften even further. "What's her name?" he asked. "Emma," Sarah answered, still trying to process what was happening. "Hello, Emma," he said gently. "And you're Sarah Mitchell. I'm David Chen." He extended his hand, and after a moment's hesitation, Sarah shook it. His grip was firm but gentle. "Now, Sarah, what else do you need?" "Baby formula, diapers, food for yourself." Sarah felt tears prick at her eyes. It had been so long since someone had shown her such unexpected kindness. "We need formula, and maybe some fruits and vegetables. Basic things." "Then let's get basic things," David said. "And maybe some not so basic things too." For the next 20 minutes, David guided Sarah through the store. He didn't make a show of it, didn't draw attention to his generosity. Instead, he simply asked what Emma needed, what Sarah liked to eat, what would make their lives a little easier. He added items to a new cart with the casual ease of someone for whom money was not a constant worry. Sarah found herself relaxing despite the surreal nature of the situation. David asked about Emma's age, smiled when the baby gurgled at him, and somehow made the whole experience feel less like charity and more like friendship. At the checkout, the total came to over $200. Sarah watched the numbers climb with a mixture of gratitude and disbelief. David paid without hesitation, then helped load the bags into Sarah's old car. she asked finally, as they stood beside her car in the parking lot. Emma had fallen back asleep in her arms. David was quiet for a moment, looking out over the busy parking lot. "My mother raised me alone for a while," he said finally. "I remember what it looked like when she tried to make every dollar stretch. I remember the pride that kept her from asking for help, and the relief in her eyes when someone offered it anyway." He looked back at Sarah. "You're doing something incredible, raising Emma on your own. Everyone needs help sometimes. Today, I get to be yours." Sarah felt the tears she had been holding back finally spill over. "Thank you," she whispered. "You have no idea what this means." "I think I do," David said softly. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a business card. "If you ever need anything else, please call me. I mean it." As Sarah drove home that evening, her car filled with more groceries than she had seen in months. She kept glancing in the rearview mirror at Emma sleeping peacefully in her car seat. Sometimes, she thought, help came from the most unexpected places. The kindness of a stranger had changed everything, if only for today, and sometimes that was enough to change everything that followed.